My king, gracious king, gracious king, I have returned from afar, and yet I bring good tidings for you, O Lord. I've found you yet another wife. Yes, and this one you don't have to... Hello and welcome to this episode of How to Be a Great GM. My name is Guy, and today we're looking at family. The importance of family. Now, of course, the gentleman behind you, behind me, I should say, we were kind of similar, actually. Anyway, the gentleman behind me, Henry VIII, had 6 wives, 6 of them. Very briefly, he had 2 wives executed, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard. Divorced 2 of his wives, caused a big fracas, that whole thing. Catherine of Aragon and Anne of Cleves, of course. And his last one, Jane Seymour, she outlived him. No, Jane Seymour did not outlive him. Jane Seymour died in childbirth, sorry. And Catherine Parr outlived him. And yeah, it was quite the family that he had going. Lots of things, lots of rumours going on about this gentleman in terms of dancing all night and all those kinds of things. Anyway, we're talking about family. We're not looking at Henry VIII's 6 wives and all of the stuff that went along with that. We're talking about family. We're talking about how to use family in your game. Let me get rid of this silly little hat. What a silly idea. Nonetheless, we're talking about how to use family in your games. We're going to look at the narrative power that family gives you. We're going to look at the mechanical value that they give you. And then we're going to look at the practical value. So how do you actually incorporate the whole thing into your game? So those are the kind of things we're going to be looking at today. So let's jump straight into it. Narrative power. Power. We all want power. Narrative power. We mostly all have family. Somewhere along the line, you have had someone who is older than you have some kind of impact upon your life. Generally speaking, they would be considered a father figure, a mother figure, a grandparent figure. It doesn't matter what pronoun you want to use. They would be someone who has had an influence in your life. So we have all had that connection. We've had that moment. Whether we hate them, whether we like them, doesn't matter. We've had them. So what does that mean? That means that when you incorporate them into your game, there's something that we can all grasp very easily and very quickly as players. When you introduce a gigantic, which is a gigantic and organic giant, when you introduce a gigantic into your game, we don't really have context for what it's like fighting someone who's 17 foot tall. We really don't. It's not within our purview. However, when you introduce a family member, a mother or a father, suddenly we have our own stories that become very, very true. So it's a real power. I have a theory, to be perfectly honest with you, that this is why a lot of players don't like to have their family hovering around in their backgrounds, because it raises all kinds of weird and wonderful things. It makes it almost too real. So that's important. Because we have this link, and this link becomes almost instantaneous, the moment I refer to your goblin mother, forget goblin. It goes straight out of the window. We expect someone who is probably caring, who has nurtured in some way, shape or form. Now, let's unpack those. They could have been supportive. They could have been comedic. They could be adversarial. They could be distant, dismissive, antagonistic, useless, leeches. Parents can be this amazing thing that you add to the group. Now, I am not advocating for a moment that you just launch your parent plan, your parent trap, thanks Hayley Mills, your parent trap onto the players in the middle of a session. That you've read their backstory, and their backstory says, oh, my mother and father grew up, are living on a farm. And you've described that the players have come across a farm. Oh, it looks very, it's actually your home farm. And you see standing in the doorway, your mother. Oftentimes, when I get to this point, I will ask the player, what was your relationship like with your mother? What was your mother like? Very briefly, they'll go, oh, she was a kindly old woman and we had a great time. Suddenly, the woman throws her arms up wide and she comes rushing over to you. Oh, Pertry, my beloved child, welcome back. And these are your friends. I'm so glad to see you. Why didn't you write? Well, it doesn't matter. Food is on the table. So they become a supportive individual who's really good. Sometimes the players go, surprise me. Ha 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 ha. Oh yes, that's then suddenly where the mother is dismissive, the father is a leech, and that's how it goes. So these are the different states, and there's many more, but these are the ones that you should be thinking about when you're thinking about adding a character's parents to the story. Make sure that they're okay. Even if in session 0 you say, listen guys, if you've got a parent or a sibling in the back story that you've given to me, I will be using them and I will be interpreting how they are to be used. Let people know that. If they are very unhappy with that, then ask them, okay, give me a psychological profile, just a paragraph on each of your parents. And then you can use that when it comes to the specific session. Bearing in mind, of course, that it doesn't matter what category they fall into, they will always have needs. They will always have needs. And this is, again, what's going to make them feel real. If the parents are supportive, the mother's supportive, the father is a comedic joke, he trips over things, he jumps all over things, that's all good and well. But that's not meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, the genuine story, the real story, is where they have a quiet conversation and the mother goes, I love your father, I really do, I absolutely do, but we're going to lose the farm. Yes, I know, it's a gigantic hook, isn't it? It's a horrid, horrid hook. It's going to work, though. The player should pick up on it immediately and go, I have to talk about this. I have to go there. I have to explore this. So that is something definitely to bear in mind. Think about that. Think about how their needs are going to drive a story for you, an adventure for you. It doesn't have to be obvious. It really doesn't have to be obvious. It could be as subtle as, well, your mother is a battle axe, as you know. I just wish that her pain would go. Well, she won't mention it, of course. It's not very debilitating, but it's a pain nonetheless. Comes with old age, I suppose. Still, we'll probably have to bring in a hired hand. Say, would you mind sitting in on the interviews for the hands that we're thinking of bringing on? And suddenly you have a whole new adventure, or they can go and try and solve the mother's pain, whatever it might be. The narrative power that parents give you is huge. We should be exploiting this more in terms of our games because we have them. So we feel them. We get into that story space a lot faster and a lot easier than many of the other story types that we can offer. Mechanical value, there is a tremendous amount of mechanical value. Something that I've been speaking about on the channel recently, something which I firmly believe, is that when you add in an NPC, you are bringing in mechanics. If you want to look at it from that nut and bolt kind of space, they enhance the PC. The mother, the father, the brother, the sister, the PCs arrive in town and they now are enhanced. Oh, you're the son of so-and-so. Oh, no, of course you can get into the club. You don't need a special pass. Oh, you're the son of so-and-so. You cannot enter. Why? Your father has debts racked up all over the city. He's not welcome here. So they can enhance or disempower the PC. From a mechanical perspective, that's brilliant. They can also enhance them in terms of, oh, your father is fighting alongside you? This gives you greater motivation to move forward, to do something better. You get advantage. You get a +1. You get a +5%. You get a plus something. You get a bonus for being in proximity of your family. You get a disadvantage for being in proximity of your family. Those are two things that you can interchange. Plato once said that the greatest fighting army that could ever be constructed would be a fighting army of male lovers. And thus the sacred band was born, a division within the ancients, Greek armies of homosexual lovers. And they were so powerful, excuse me, they were so powerful that when Alexander the Great led his cavalry charge against them during a battle that Philip, his father, was leading in Macedon, they launched against the sacred band. They fought so valiantly because they didn't want their lover to die. They fought so valiantly that although Alexander ultimately defeated them, the only bodies that were found were those facing the enemy. None of them had turned and run away because they were fighting for their partner who was standing next to them. Alexander the Great then subsequently reformed the sacred band, and that was his personal bodyguard for the rest of his campaign. Sadly, they couldn't save him from, all of the trials and tribulations of being a psychopath. So the idea is that family can empower. Use that. Give the advantage, give the disadvantage, however. The financial or information, they arrive in town. Oh, you don't have to pay for an expensive inn. No, stay with your mum and me. We'll put some straw down on the floor, be very comfortable like your childhood growing up. They can be financial support. Oh, you need a couple. Don't tell your mother, but here's 1,000 platinum. Who knows? I mean, some people's parents are like that. They could provide information. Oh, don't go into town. No, the evil Dark Duke is in town. You need to avoid town altogether. But if you do go, I suggest you go in through the tradesman entrance, because they don't check the carts there. Ha ha ha. Mechanical value within your narrative. And then sanctuary. The players can escape, their characters can escape to the family member, who then provides them with cover, with hiding opportunities, with ways and means to get out of a situation. Or at the last moment, if you wanted to be tragic, the characters are about to be arrested and boom, the parents arrive. Oh, we were following you because we were worried about you. Your friends are no good, you know. But don't worry, we'll take the fall for you. You get out. You now have an adventure to go and rescue your parents, as well as to continue the adventure that you were on. Again, all these mechanical values. Look at this. I mean, we've been speaking for 11 minutes. These are all the values. So, practical use. We've been sort of talking about it. Plot giver. Yes, they can give plots. Go and solve this problem. Your mother needs money. We need to save the farm. We need to do this. We need to defeat the Klingons before they ransack our village. The Marquis must survive. Viva la Marquis. Whatever. All those kinds of things, they are plot givers. First and foremost, very easy plot givers. They are also plot drivers, and that means that they enable the story to move forward. They quite literally, oh, you want to get into the castle? Oh, well, your mother's the washerwoman there. No, screw that. Your father's the washerman there. He goes and does all the laundry. Your mother does the garden. Whatever. I mean, let's play around with things. That's why we roleplay. So all of those options are there. The plot driver, they enable. Oh, you need to get into the warehouse. I've got a friend down at the pub who might know how to get you in there. They enable your existing plots to move forward. And then they are actual plot themselves. Dear son, I hope you're well. I'm fine. Your mother's been abducted by a troll. I hope all is going well. Love, Dad. Perfect plot. They're not giving a plot. They're not kind of inspiring a plot to happen. They are the plot. The parents become the plot. So three plot points. The next time you're struggling for an adventure, it's like, I'm going to talk to family. I'm going to look at what the family might be. Let's cut off her head. I want to divorce him. I want her... no, she can just die in childbirth. This one... no, cut off her head. This one... no, cut off her head. All that kind of stuff. So that's where we can drive to. That's what we can do with family. From a bonus perspective, don't manipulate. This is the big thing. Parents, if they are good people, if they're supportive of their family, they shouldn't necessarily manipulate in terms of, this is a giant wrench. I am manipulating you as the player to go on this adventure. Don't force the players to do something that they don't want to do. If you throw out the plot hook, oh, your mother's got a bad wound, she needs to be healed, and I can't get her to town, and the players go, yeah, well, that's going to be really tough, Dad, but we're busy saving the kingdom from a giant dragon, so that outweighs it. No, all right, understand, son, I'll figure it out. Don't manipulate players into doing something because it's their family backstory. Present and then move on. As with all of your adventure hooks, present and then move on. Don't play favorites, or play favorites, depending. Some parents become these NPCs that the parties love going to. Bring them back from time to time. Others don't. If you think of Lwaxana Troi from Star Trek, in The Next Generation, she's the mother of one of the characters. But she made such an impression, she was invited onto the show multiple times, and then in the subsequent season of series of Deep Space Nine, she was there as well, because she became such a lovable character. So play the favorites, and then counterpoint the mood. If the mood of the party is depressive, let the family space be good and happy. If the party is good and happy, let the family space be a depressive one. Let that help you in terms of deciding how to come up with an adventure involving the family. You go, oh, I like the family stuff. I want to do the family stuff, but I don't know what kind of adventure should be. Well, you've only got your 4 to choose from: thwarting, delivering, collecting, or discovering. But the mood should be counterpoint. You get home, the party's in high spirits. Oh, we got all this treasure. It's wonderful. Son, I've got bad news for you. Your dog died. What? My dog? How did my dog die? It died eating the cat. It choked on the cat. Oh my God, the cat's dead too? Yeah, but that's okay, because it was dead before the dog ate it, because it choked on the goldfish. My goldfish is dead? Yeah, unfortunately, there was a mix-up, and we've fed your pet worm to the goldfish. Oh my God, my worm is... you get the point. You get the point. If the party's happy, have the family sad. If the party's sad, have the family happy. That's just how it works. That's how we run our games. And that's why we have fun as dungeon masters and game masters, because all of that is at our fingertips. The wonderful family. That is it from me for today. Hit the like button if you like the content. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more. And the Goblin Bell will let you know when we release new content. So hit that if you want to know. Until next time, however, I wish you and yours and your familia the happiest of gaming.